guys, welcome. Today I am going to make 4 meals out of these ingredients that I got at Aldi, and all these ingredients cost me was $10.64. At my Aldi they had 5 pounds of chicken drumsticks for $3.45, a jar of barbecue sauce for $1.22, 3 packages of fast rising yeast for 89 cents, flour for $2.30, a can of milk for $1.29, and a jar of spaghetti sauce for $1.49. First meal is chicken and dumplings. Make a can of evaporated milk equal to 2% milk. You want to put the whole can of milk into a container and 1 cup of water. And you want to mix that together. And you want to store this in the refrigerator, and you can use it just like you would use milk out of the gallon. First thing I'm going to do is divide my chicken up. I have washed and drained my chicken, and I'm going to take 4 pieces out and put into another container. And I'm going to save these for another meal. I'm going to cover these and put them in the fridge. I have put the rest of the drumsticks in a pot and covered it with water. I'm going to put about 1 to 2 tablespoons of dill weed into my water. About 1 tablespoon of garlic powder. 1 tablespoon of onion powder. Just a pinch of salt. Some freshly ground pepper. And a couple of bay leaves. And I'm going to turn this on to medium heat. Give the water a stir, and I am going to boil this for 45 minutes to an hour. While my chicken is boiling, I'm going to get my dumplings ready. For my dumplings, I need 3/4 cup of buttermilk. I do not have no buttermilk, so I'm going to make some. I put 3/4 cup of milk in my measuring cup and put 1 tablespoon of white vinegar or 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, whichever one you have. Let this set for about 15 minutes, and you can use that in the replacement of buttermilk. Chicken has been boiling for 45 minutes. I'm going to take it out of the boiling water. Lay it onto a baking sheet or a plate so the chicken can cool. Once the chicken is cool, I'm going to take the chicken. I'm going to debone the chicken. I'm going to take about 2/3 of this chicken and put into a container and put it in the refrigerator. And then 1/3 of it I am going to cut up to put back into my broth for my chicken and dumplings. While my chicken is cooling, I am going to make my dumplings. I need 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. I want to mix all the dry ingredients together. Then I'm going to pour the buttermilk in. And you want to stir this until everything comes together. Now that it has come somewhat together, you want to get your hand in there and just knead it a little bit to make sure that the dough comes together. All my flour is in my dough ball. I want to lay it out on a flat, clean surface and let this set for about 10 minutes. Now that my dough has rested, I'm going to roll it out to about a 1/2 inch thick and then cut it into 1-inch pieces with my pizza cutter. I am going to put my chicken back into my broth. I'm going to turn my heat back on to medium. And once this starts to boil, I'm going to drop my dumplings into the boiling broth. It will take about 5 minutes. When the dumplings float, they are done. All of my dumplings are floating, which means they are done. I am going to add a slurry into my boiling pot. And I'm going to stir this until my liquid is slightly thickened. My second budget meal is barbecue chicken sandwiches. For my chicken buns, I have 1.5 cups of hot water. I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of sugar, 2 tablespoons of milk, and 2 tablespoons of oil or butter, 4 cups of flour, and 1 package of my fast rising yeast. I'm going to put my insert back into my bread machine, and I am going to select dough only and press start. And in 1.5 hours, I will have the dough for my buns. If you do not have a bread machine, you can make this dough by hand. It has been 1.5 hours and my dough is done. I am going to spray my hands with a little bit of cooking spray, and I'm gonna make this dough into buns and breadsticks. You just take it out, and since you want them to be a little thinner than rolls, you want to flatten them and lay them on your baking dish, and just continue with the rest of the dough. I have all my dough rolled out. I want to lightly spray these with cooking spray and cover these and put them in a warm place for about 30 to so they can raise. I'm going to take about half of my deboned chicken and I'm going to cut it into bite-sized pieces. I am going to put my skillet on medium heat and put about 1 tablespoon of oil in my skillet, and I'm going to let that come up to temperature. My pan is warm and I'm going to put all of my chicken into my pan. And I'm going to cook this until it's brown, maybe 2 to 5 minutes. I'm going to put about a half a tablespoon of house seasoning on my chicken. I'm going to mix that well and continue browning my chicken. Just put enough on there that it coats all the chicken well. My buns and my breadsticks have doubled in size. I am preheating my oven to 400 and I will cook it for 20 minutes. Third budget meal is chicken and waffles. To start my chicken and waffles, I have about 2 cups of milk here. I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of white vinegar or distilled vinegar into my milk. And I am going to put my chicken into the vinegar milk, which this is how you make buttermilk. If you do not have buttermilk, you can just add vinegar to regular milk and it will make buttermilk. I'm going to marinate the chicken and my buttermilk for about 1 hour. While my chicken is marinating, I'm going to make the coating. I have about 2 cups of flour into this Ziploc bag. I'm going to put about 1 tablespoon of baking soda and about 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and then about 1 to 2 tablespoons of your seasoning. You can just eyeball this, it does not have to be perfectly measured. Now you just want to close the bag and shake it, and you want to set this aside until your chicken has finished marinating. My chicken has been marinating for about 1 hour. I'm going to take each drumstick out of the milk mixture, drain it just a little bit, then you want to just toss it around in your coating, and then lay it on your air fryer basket. I'm going to do this for all 4 pieces of my chicken. You want to take your cooking spray and spray the top of the chicken. I'm going to put this in my air fryer at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. Then I'm going to flip it and cook it another 10 minutes. My waffle recipe uses buttermilk instead of regular milk, so I have 2 cups of milk here. And I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of vinegar into my milk. I'm going to stir this and let this set for a couple minutes while I get my dry ingredients ready. My dry ingredients, I have 2½ cups of all-purpose flour, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and a couple of pinches of salt. You want to mix this well. You also want to drizzle about 2 tablespoons of either melted butter or any kind of oil. And you want to mix that. I have all of my dry ingredients mixed well. I am going to start pouring in my buttermilk. You want to do this slowly. You don't want to pour it all at once. I'm going to turn my waffle maker on and let it warm up. If you do not have a waffle maker, you can make these in a pan and just make them pancakes. My waffle maker is warmed up. I am going to open it, slightly spray the griddle. Then you want to put your batter in the middle and slightly spread it out. Make sure you have enough on there that covers the whole thing, but not enough that it will make the batter come out on the sides. Just a little bit more. Now I'm going to close my waffle machine, turn it, and press timer start. And it was 2 minutes and 15 seconds. My waffle timer just went off and it's completely done. Take this waffle off, lay it on a plate, and I will continue to do the same steps until all of my waffle batter has been cooked. For my fourth budget meal, I made spaghetti with homemade spaghetti noodles and garlic bread. To start my spaghetti, I am going to make my noodles. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour in my bowl. I'm going to put a couple of pinches of salt into my flour. I want to mix that well. Then I want to drizzle about 1 tablespoon of oil into my flour. Mix that. I have 2 cups of warm water here. I do not know how much water I will need, so I made a well in the middle of my flour, and I'm going to put about a half a cup of water in at a time. And we'll slowly mix it in. You do not want your dough to be too wet. I used 3/4 cups of water. Now I want to knead this dough for about 5 minutes just to get the gluten going. If your dough's sticky, you might have to add some more flour. I have kneaded my dough for about 5 minutes. I'm going to get a clean bowl, put a little oil in the bottom, drop the dough into the oil, turn it so all of the dough is covered with the oil. I'm going to cover this and let it set for 30 minutes. The dough has been resting for about 30 minutes. I'm going to put it out onto a clean surface. And I'm going to roll this dough out until it's very, very thin. As thin as you can get it without it breaking. Have my dough to the desired thinness. I'm going to take a pizza cutter or any kind of cutter you have and cut the spaghetti very thin as you can. Just cut all the way down. Make sure you go through all the dough. For my sauce, I am going to take the leftover chicken that I have, and I'm going to cut it all into bite-sized pieces. I have a large pot of water on my stove. I'm going to turn it to medium heat. I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper into the water. And I am going to let this come up to a boil. Also want to put about a tablespoon of oil in your water. I'm going to turn a large skillet onto medium heat and put about 1 tablespoon of oil into the bottom. And I want to add about a tablespoon of minced garlic. And I'm going to saute this for about a minute. Garlic has been sauteing for about 1 minute. I'm going to put my chicken into my skillet, and I'm going to saute this for another minute. You want to put some salt and pepper on your chicken and garlic. And 1/4 cup of brown sugar. You want to mix that together. My brown sugar has melted, so I want to put my whole jar of spaghetti. I also want to put a half jar of water. Mix this well and let this simmer for about 20 minutes. Water is boiling, and I want to drop my noodles in one at a time. When they float, they are done. My noodles are floating, so that means that they are finished cooking. I'm going to drain them slightly and put them directly into my spaghetti sauce. If you have made it this far, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And before you leave, comment down below which one of these budget recipes you would be more likely to cook.